As a pastor's son who grew up in the Midwest, for me, family was a way of life. Mealtime together was a must. There was always a cheering squad at any of my sporting events. It wasn't until later in life, however, that I began to realize this wasn't the norm for most people. I'll never forget one of my college roommates sarcastically poking at me. "I'm sure your family has dinner together every night." "Well, yeah, of course, doesn't everyone's?" was my initial thought, as the words behind his comments sank in, which were, "Not everyone has a close family like yours." But as life went on, my family ended up spreading from Chicago to the furthest reaches of the country. Though we'd spread out, we all still sought time together because we loved and valued our family. As Sarah and I landed here in Boston, we quickly settled into a church that had a lot going on. We made new friends, got involved, and found ourselves caught up in a whirlwind of activities one weekend after the next. In this time, we grew close to an old couple who took us in his family, fell in love with our kids, and meant the world to us. We even came to call them Aunt Rose and Uncle Mike because our love for them could only be explained as family. As life goes, however, Mike's job moved them to Seattle. When they left, Sarah and I found ourselves with a hole in our heart, one that can only be filled with the regular community and intimacy of family. With the arrival of our 3 kids, we had less time for the church's whirlwind of activities and found the 20-minute commute harder to make multiple times a week. Before we knew it, we were alone at a church we had been at for years. We were commuting 20 minutes every Sunday to attend a very comfortable church that had no part of our lives aside from Sunday mornings. Through this time, it became clear to us that God was calling us to a church closer to our home community here in Worcester. Sarah and I wanted to be at a church that was a daily part of our lives, not one that we visited on Sunday mornings. We wanted to be at a church that wasn't restricted to its walls, but a community that was intertwined with the community we lived in. As we made our rounds visiting churches, Sarah and I found ourselves caught between 2 tough decisions. One was a very missional-focused church doing a lot in the inner city of Worcester, and the other was my daughter's soccer coach, Billy's church. He was on staff there. It was a very contemporary church with a heart for family, and it was named Fellowship. Neither Sarah or I found this an easy decision to make, but Sarah's insight won me for Fellowship. She told me, "Fellowship's my community. These are people you see at parent pickup, at soccer practice, at the grocery store, people whose lives are already intertwined with ours." So Sarah and I decided, and have found it to be just the right fit for us. Fellowship didn't have 1,000 programs, Sunday school classes, MOPS, or dozens of outreach programs running every weekend, but it did have something Sarah and I had been missing for a long time: family. Before we knew it, we found ourselves in a small group surrounded with people who shared our passion for Christ, reaching our community, and growing closer through God. Excluding Aunt Rose and Uncle Mike, the past 9 months we've grown closer to 12 people in our small group than we had with anyone at our previous church for 6 years. We've shared testimonies, tears, meals, concerns, prayers, joys, and our lives. One time, instead of meeting, we attended a Little League baseball game to support one of our family's sons, Colin. Here we were, getting to be a cheering squad for someone else just like my family had been for me when I was growing up. Now, it's not like it's been the perfect love story where we all got starry-eyed and everything was perfect. To be frank, issues have come up. There have been disagreements and differences, even some tension at times. Now that's family. Disagreeing while still loving that person, the very fabric of their being. Every family has disagreements and differences, and working through those in love has grown us even closer to each other. What's floored me is how many times my life group family has been there for Sarah and I when things have been hard. People say you're never alone when you have family. Well, that's true of our life group family too. We aren't alone in the world to fend for ourselves. We have a safety net of others who love us and are willing to care for us. When we were down a car, soccer coach Billy picked up our girls for school. And our friends Lee and Laurel even offered us their second car that they weren't using. When I hit a wall building my computer, Lee spent hours on the phone with me helping me through it and even ended up building me one with spare parts he had. When my wife and I needed time together and finances were tight, Al and Erica had our kids over for the night to watch the kids so Sarah and I could focus on our marriage. Numerous times when schedules got crazy, families in our group helped out watching our kids, picking them up from school, or having us over for a meal. Not only have they been able to do that for us, but we've had the blessing of getting to serve them in similar ways too. Everyone needs a family. Everyone needs to feel loved, supported, and like they're part of something bigger than they are. Everyone needs to know that when life gets tough, they aren't alone. They need to feel God's love through a community of people who are willing to look out for them no matter the cost. Everyone needs a family, and God wants to give everyone the family they never knew they needed.